We have a 2004 Nissan Titan. We're going to go through the steps in replacing the fuel pump. We'll start by bleeding the pressure off the system using our pressure relief valve on our gauge. Be sure and capture the fuel into a safe container. Before beginning any repair, disconnect the negative battery cable. In order to do a proper fuel pump replacement, we need to clean the inside of the tank, and that will require the removal of the tank. Just forward of the left rear tire, disconnect the fuel filler and vent line. Safely remove the fuel tank shield. At the rear of the tank, remove the vent tube in order to gain access to the emissions tube. With the fuel tank properly supported, disconnect the tank straps. Partially lower the tank, making sure not to kink the fuel line. With the fuel tank in this position, remove the 3 retaining nuts on the cover plate and disconnect the electrical connection and fuel line. Be sure and capture any fuel into a safe container. At this point, we can safely remove the tank from the vehicle. It's a good idea to clean the outside of the tank before removing the module assembly. This will keep any excessive debris from getting in the tank. For ease of installation, remove the fuel line retainer clip and install into the fuel line fitting. Remove the emissions tube from the top of the tank. Remove the locking ring using a non-ferrous brass punch and turning it counterclockwise. Be sure and note the location of the retainer studs for the cover plate before removing. Inspect the locking ring to make sure it's not damaged in any way that would hinder its reuse. As you remove the module assembly from the tank, keep in mind there's a reservoir that will hold residual fuel. Be sure and capture this into a safe container. At this point, we need to drain the remaining fuel into a safe container and clean the inside of the tank. Having a clean environment for the fuel pump to operate in will extend the life of the pump. With the inside of the tank thoroughly cleaned, we're ready to install the new Airtex fuel pump module. Place the tank seal into its location in the top of the tank. As you lower the fuel pump module into the tank, keep in mind that the locating tabs will only fit in one location. Install the locking ring turning it clockwise, making sure that the retainer studs are in the correct location. Reinstall the emissions line on the top of the tank. With the fuel tank partially raised, connect the fuel line and electrical connection and reinstall the cover. As we finish raising the tank into position, be sure and place the filler tube over the top of the frame. At the rear of the tank, reconnect the emissions line and vent line. With the tank fully raised, install the tank straps and reinstall the tank shield. At the front of the left rear wheel, reconnect the vent line and the fuel filler hose. With the repair complete, reattach the negative battery cable. Cycle the key 2 to 3 times in order to charge the system. Start the vehicle and monitor fuel pressure, making sure it's within vehicle specification. Now before we remove our pressure gauge, we'll shut the vehicle off and bleed the pressure using our pressure gauge, making sure to capture any fuel into a safe container.